Hello there and welcome to Something for the Weekend, a series showcasing short games that you can complete over the weekend. This week we've got two older games. The first is about a man running away from his problems, and the second is about a woman facing her problems. Anyway, strap yourselves in, here's Something for the Weekend. Firewatch hiked its way onto PC, macOS, PS4 and Xbox One back in 2016, with a follow-up release on Switch in 2018. It's also on Game Pass, and it's playable via backwards compatibility on PS5 and Xbox Series consoles. That means there's literally no reason to not have played it, which is why I've only just played it. Firewatch follows a chap called Henry who decides to take a summer job as a fire lookout. The reasons for this are complicated, but suffice to say it's hard hitting. His job is a means for escaping a situation, and what better way to do this than up and leave into the arse end of nowhere in the Rockies. Upon starting his job, he's introduced to Delilah, the veteran supervisor who oversees the various lookouts in the area. She explains what he's going to be doing all summer, which is not a lot, other than having a walkabout and sitting down in the tower looking out for fires. But this is a video game, and things don't quite play out that way. Firewatch is a so-called walking sim through and through. The majority of the gameplay comprises wandering the beautiful forestscape with occasional chopping down of bushes, rappelling on ropes, and inspecting items. It's sedate, but the gameplay is merely backing for exceptional storytelling. Whilst on your jollies through the forest, you'll talk to Delilah via your walkie-talkie, sharing stories of your past and learning about hers. You're often presented with multiple choice responses to her questions, allowing you to direct the conversation, but the two characters are essentially sarcastic piss takers, which suited me to a T.
Why, 'cause you're 12?
Early into the game, a mystery starts to unfold, and this drives the story forward, but ultimately Firewatch is about relationships. The connection between the two main characters feels real, and you're almost instantly captivated by their relationship. This is thanks to the writing and voice acting, both of which are exceptional. You rarely feel such a bond with characters in video games, at least not in games that last just a handful of hours, but Firewatch nails it. It'll take just 4 to 5 hours to make it to the conclusion of the game, but Firewatch is special. It's a game that's going to stick with you for a long, long time. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice descended onto PC and PlayStation 4 back in 2017, then on Xbox One in 2018, Nintendo Switch in 2019, and finally the Xbox Series consoles in 2021 with a handful of visual upgrades. It's fair to say it's been about a bit. Hellblade is set in a dark world steeped in Norse mythology and follows the story of Senua, a Celtic warrior who set out to save the soul of her lover. Her plan is to travel to Helheim to bargain with Hela, an overseer of the underworld, and thus the journey begins. A little jolly down the local co-op this ain't. The gameplay in Hellblade is a mix of puzzle solving and combat, with the occasional boss battle thrown in for good measure. The puzzles are mainly tied to locked doors, and you solve them by finding runes in the real world. These could take the form of a shadow, a shaft of light, or be found by angling the game's camera at just the right position to turn a pile of miscellaneous props into a symbol. It's a great little mechanic. The combat on the other hand is fairly standard, but serves as a nice break in pace from the otherwise quite steady gameplay. Upon entering combat, the camera changes its position, leading to some pretty cool cinematic moments. Also, just a heads up that you can actually block and parry in this game, something I didn't realise until I'd finished it. But the thing that makes Hellblade so great is Senua. Senua suffers from psychosis, but you'll be pleased to hear that this isn't some crass cash-in. Ninja Theory worked hard to ensure that the depiction of the condition is honest, and the result is quite frankly harrowing at times. These episodes of psychosis occur as both voices in Senua's head, and hallucinations in the game's world. The voices will sometimes be friendly, offering words of encouragement and hints at puzzle solutions. Sometimes, however, they can be angry, violent and discouraging, so much so that it's oftentimes uncomfortable to play. There are also occasional fourth wall breaks, be it from the voices in Senua's head, or Senua herself staring directly at the camera, as if observing you, the player. It makes it incredibly unsettling. But what makes this so effective is Melina Jurgen's incredible performance as Senua, and the voice actors depicting the voices in her head. Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice is what this series was made for. It's technically and visually impressive, its story great, the acting is outstanding, and its depiction of mental health is something that was quite rightly praised when it was released back in the day. It'll take roughly 7 to 8 hours to make your way through the story, but this too is another game that should be on everyone's must-play list. It's simply sublime.
There's no doubt about it. The source of the darkness is in Helheim, and the goddess Hela holds his soul there.
And there we are then. Thank you very much for watching, and an extra thanks if you watched all of these videos. This is the final one, unfortunately, or maybe not. But if you would like to see some more, then drop a comment below, or hit us up on the socials, and then I might bring it back for you as a little treat. But for now, you can check out the other stuff on our channel, including NGB Retro, where Andy looks at some classic old school games. Or you can check out the Next Gen Basecast, our podcast that we also record so you can see our pretty faces while we talk about games and stuff. Who wouldn't want to see that? But for now, until next time, goodbye.